Welcome back to the deep dive. We often think relationships were like super complex codes to crack. But what if they're actually more like mirrors, reflecting our habits, our emotions, how we really show up? Today we're doing a deep dive into mindful relationships, exploring how just cultivating attention can really transform how you interact. That's what our notes suggest. Our mission, to see how simple presence can, well, change everything.
Yeah, and what's really striking in the sources is this idea that mindful relationships, they really start with self-awareness, radical self-awareness. And it's not just thinking about yourself later. It's more like seeing yourself in the moment, noticing your thoughts, your feelings as they're happening right there in the conversation. The idea is this lets you choose your reaction, instead of just defaulting to old habits. Turns interactions into places for understanding, not, as one source put it, like a battlefield.
Okay, right. So let's unpack this core idea that seems to run through everything. Attention is the rarest and most precious form of love. Wow. That's quite a statement, isn't it? Especially now, with all the digital noise and everything pulling at us. Giving someone your full, focused attention. It's almost like an act of defiance. And the research suggests it tells the other person, you matter most right now. That builds trust, connection. But what did the sources say gets in the way? What's the biggest block to giving that attention?
It often boils down to our own internal stuff, right? Our own thoughts, and that urge to jump in, to fix things, maybe give advice. So to help build that attention muscle, one really neat practice from the notes is the 3 words of attention. It sounds simple, but it's actually quite powerful. You listen, like really listen until the person is actually finished talking. Then you just pick out 3 key words they use, 3 important ones. And you either gently repeat them back or maybe ask a question using those exact words. It's more than just active listening. It really creates this immediate feeling for the other person of, wow, they actually heard me.
Okay. The 3 words. I can see how that forces you to pay attention. But I wonder, could it feel a bit, mechanical or forced? Did the notes mention that?
Yeah, good point. And they did. The key is genuine curiosity. If you're actually interested in understanding, those 3 words won't feel like some technique. They'll just be natural points of connection that stood out to you. And, while that exercise helps with listening, with auditory presence, the sources also talk a lot about the power of nonverbal stuff, our body language expressions, which leads to this other idea called the microtouch.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Microtouch. So it's about those little things, small gestures that build closeness.
Exactly. Tiny intentional moments.
Like a real smile, one that reaches your eyes, or maybe a light touch on the arm if that feels right, or just a sincere thank you.
Yeah, or even just holding eye contact for a brief moment, just saying, I see you.
Right. These little things, the sources say they kind of add up, building this like reservoir of trust.
And connecting this back to the bigger picture, it's all about presence, isn't it? Sustained presence. There was this example, let's call it a mindful case. A friend was sharing something really tough, and the listener's first instinct, jump in, fix it, offer solutions.
Yeah, we all do that sometimes.
Right. But they resisted. They just listened, stayed present without interrupting or judging. And afterwards, the friend just said, thanks. Thanks for just being there.
Wow.
Yeah. It shows that sometimes just your presence, being fully there, is way more valuable than any advice you could give. It really drives home that point from the material. It's not what you do that's most important, but how you are present.
That really hits home. I think we've all been on the receiving end of needing someone to just be there. And, the notes had other quick tips too, practical things, like consciously trying to give less advice and maybe ask more open questions that invite people to share more.
Good one.
And using I statements. Instead of, you always do this saying, I feel frustrated when...
Right, focusing on your experience. It makes the other person less defensive, takes the heat out.
Exactly. And there was a little ritual too, before a meeting or just an important chat, take a breath and just silently say to yourself, okay, right now I want to be fully here with them. Kind of anchors you.
A mental reset. I like that.
Yeah. And finally, maybe try sharing a meal with no phones, no distractions, just focus on the conversation, the person.
Simple, but potentially quite profound these days. So I guess bringing it all together, mindful relationships, they're really about cultivating that attention intentionally. It doesn't just happen. It starts with how you choose to show up, moment by moment.
That's right. So as you go about your day today, maybe think, what's one small act of attention you could bring to an interaction? Just one thing, inspired by this deep dive. And how might that little shift, How might it ripple outwards in your connections? What could you discover just by truly being there? Something to think about. We'll see you next time.